All right, we're going to get started with our yoga practice for the day. So to get started, choosing a comfortable seated posture, you can have your legs crossed, or you could bend your legs if that feels better. Or even if you want to lie on your back, that's totally cool too. One thing I do recommend, if you're seated and you notice like that you're slumping back or your hips feel uncomfortable in any way, sit up on a block, maybe a pillow. You could even put a blanket on top of your block. That'll make it a little softer. And one of the other added benefits of sitting up on a block, it allows our hips to be higher than our knees. Because if your knees are, way higher than your hips, it's going to feel uncomfortable, and it's going to basically make your back, your spine, go into an unhealthy curvature. So we want to protect the curvature of your spine, and we're going to get settled here. So you can remove any extra tissue from around your sitting bones. So that way we can sit up nice and tall. So you can adjust if you'd like. And then thinking about lengthening the spine so that the crown of the head is reaching towards the sky. And you can even imagine that maybe there's an extra little bit of space between each of the vertebrae. So if these are your vertebrae, kind of, creating that elongation so that you can get your tallest for the day, even in this seated posture, and allowing your hands to rest in your lap. You could have your palms face up. That's a gesture of receiving, or you can have your palms face down. So just seeing which feels better for you here in this position. Eyes can be closed, or you can allow your gaze to soften as you bring your awareness inward, noticing your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Connecting your body to the earth, feeling the weight of your body being held and being supported. Allowing your body to really surrender to whatever support you're on. So whether that's the ground, or if you've chosen to sit up in a chair or any other type of support like a block, allowing yourself to be fully supported. Noticing your breath as it flows in and flows out. Every time you breathe in, allowing expansion, creating space. And then as you breathe out, letting go, emptying fully so that you can make space, make room for that next in-breath. And again, breathing in, expanding the chest, and then into the ribs, and then all the way down into the belly. And then exhaling, we'll reverse that. So emptying the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Moving through that 3-part breath. Inhaling the chest, the ribs, down to the belly. Exhaling, emptying the belly, then the ribs and the chest. Moving with that rhythm, letting one breath follow another. And as you breathe in and breathe out, tuning into any sensations in your body. So if you're feeling any tightness or achiness, allowing the breath to create a sense of ease, directing your breath wherever you need it the most in this moment. And you could even imagine or envision your breath going to those parts of your body, dissolving away any tension, dissolving away any ache. And when you're ready, allowing your chin to dip towards your chest, lengthening the back of the neck. And then slowly blinking the eyes open before lifting your gaze, coming back into the space that you're in. We're going to start moving with the breath, and you might want to adjust your seat. So you could put the other leg in front, or if you need to extend your legs, whatever you need to do so you can be comfortable. We're going to inhale, circle sweeping arms out and then overhead. Exhaling, hands come back to the heart. So as we're moving here, if you're caring for your shoulders today, you might choose to just leave your arms out to the side and then exhale, hands come to center. So you can either circle them or lift them halfway, matching breath to movement, or really movement to breath. So as we inhale, we expand. As we exhale, hands come back to the heart. Inhaling and exhaling. Every time we inhale, we get a little taller, feeling a little more spacious in the body. You can turn to look up towards your hands if that feels good, letting your gaze follow the hands. Only as long as that feels okay to the neck. If there's any discomfort in your neck, keeping your gaze forward. So as we move throughout the practice, always being aware of the messages from your body. And if there's something that's feeling a little challenging, that's okay. But if there's something that creates a little bit of pain or an ache, where we know we're moving in a way that isn't healthy for our bones, our joints, our muscles, then we can adjust the movements. So sometimes we might feel a little uncomfortable, and yoga really helps us to get or to learn to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable. But again, if there's ever anything that feels like an ouch, then knowing that that is not the right movement or the right position for our bodies. So we'll do one more. Inhale, sweeping arms up. Exhaling, bringing hands back to the heart. And again, if you'd like to adjust your legs one more time, you can do that. You can even shake your legs out in front of you, maybe bending the knees. We're getting ready for some lateral flexion for the spine. So I'm going to come back, and actually I think I'm just going to put my other leg front. I was going to go into a kneeling posture. So doing what feels good for you. We're going to inhale, right arm up, left hand can reach the floor. Exhaling down, we'll switch sides. Inhaling, left arm up, coming back down. So moving with your breath here. And I think I am actually going to go into that kneeling posture. So I invite you to, exploring what might feel good to your body here as we move through our flowing breath. So now I'm inhaling, right arm up, exhaling down. Inhaling the other arm up, exhaling down. So as we move here, we're getting a little bit of a side bend. So creating length all along the left side of the body, a little bit of a contraction there, exhaling down. Opposite hand can be on the floor or it could be on your hip. And if it doesn't feel good to go, that much to the side, you might have it more of a lift, more of that reach to the sky. But if you're adding in that little bit of a side bend, that's how we're really getting that lateral flexion for the spine, moving our spine in all different planes of movement, all different directions, creating mobility and fluidity in our vertebrae. So we'll do just one or two more like this. And then we're going to pause. So coming back into our kneeling posture, we're going to add in some work for our obliques. So first coming over to one side of the body, and if you'd like, you could be up on a block, And so the option is to have the forearm on the block, or we could be up here on the hand. So placing hand and shoulder in line with each other. We're going to extend that right leg, left arm's extended, and elbow, knee. And again, if it feels better to prop down on the forearm, you can do that. Crunch of elbow to knee. 2 more. Then we're going to lower down, switch to that other side. So again, your choice. I'll show you with the block one more time. So you could be on the forearm, and the modification could be this, elbow to knee. Or if you'd like, coming up, I'm going to move my block out of the way. Again, setting up to protect the elbow, or actually the wrist. Shoulder and wrist are in line with each other. That left leg is extended, right arm is extended the opposite direction, and we're going to crunch in. Moving with the breath, exhaling as we draw in, inhaling to extend. One more. And then we'll come back down. So coming off the wrist, we'll circle the wrist a few times. Maybe even shaking out those hands. So after that, we're just going to give our hips a little bit of an opening. So hands are behind the hips, feet are about shoulder width or a little wider apart, and we're going to let the knees drop out from one side to the other. So nice opening for hips in each direction. We'll do one more time to each side. So if you've been sitting all day, this might feel really good. And we're going to lower ourselves all the way down onto our backs. So I invite you to turn to one side, or you can use that C curve, challenging your abdominal strength. And again, I always like to test mine right about here, and then coming back up. So exhale, or we'll inhale, coming back, and then to that point where you could either fall all the way back down or stay right here and then come back up. We'll do one more. So inhaling slowly back. Again, coming down with a C curve in the spine, and then this time we'll continue rolling all the way back. Knees come to the chest, giving yourself a little bit of a hug when we get here. So we're going to do what I call an X crunch. So first, crunching in, elbows are by knees, and then we're going to inhale, arms come out, and legs come out like the letter X. So exhaling in, inhaling, opening, exhaling, inhaling. So if this feels uncomfortable in any way to your lower back, you could either bring the legs and arms up, or you could just take them out to a lesser degree, a lesser angle, or keep the knees bent. So we have all different kinds of options here. Again, you could reach up, reach out, or you could even keep, change the angle. And it's really about exploring what feels good. Where do you feel the strength work in your abdominals? So that time I just put my legs out. So that wasn't really a true X. We'll do one more. And then coming in, giving yourself a hug, lowering the feet down to the ground. And we'll pause here for a moment, just noticing, maybe even patting out your belly. We're going to do just some basic crunches. And honestly, this type of crunch is one that I've used with clients for years. And I've always found it, just one of those tried and trues. So arms come alongside the body. Thinking about having an apple or an apple or an orange between your chin and your chest. We're gonna crunch up. So our gaze is up towards the ceiling. Arms can be out alongside the body. We're just gonna pulse. So counting here, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can count silently to yourself. But again, keeping your gaze up towards the ceiling. We're not looking at our knees. We're creating that crunch. And the hand movement is really just something to keep us occupied. We'll exhale. Every time we come up with an exhale, exhale. So just a few more. And then lowering down. And again, maybe patting out your belly. Letting go of some of that heat that you just created. And again, for a moment, we'll keep our knees bent, arms next to the body. Inhaling and exhaling. Then you can give yourself a nice big hug. We'll take our hands underneath our glutes. Legs are up towards the sky. If you'd like to bend the knees a little bit or a lot, that's okay. And we're going to do what's called a corkscrew. So we're just going to make some small circles. The legs are glued together. And as we circle here, thinking about that movement originating in the lower abdominals. And your circle can start to get a little bigger if that feels good. You're feeling warmth up there. If you start to feel out of control or like your lower back is arching, then you can make that circle smaller again. And then we'll pause and we'll go the other way. So starting small. And you're using your strong abdominal muscles to keep you stable as the legs are moving. Do a few more in this direction. And then we'll come to center. Again, bending those knees. Bringing the knees in towards the chest. Lifting the low back away from the ground. So now we're going to do a move called the scissor. So right leg goes up and you can hold on behind your thigh or your calf. Left leg is extended and I got to scoot my block a little bit out of the way. And we're going to pulse down with that extended leg and then switch. So it's pulse 2 and switch 2. So going from one side to the other. Now that leg that's lifted is getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch, so that might feel really good. And again, that movement forces us to use our abdominals to stay a little more stable. And if at any point it feels uncomfortable being lifted, having your head and chest lifted, you could always lower down and do it more with just the legs. And the other thing is you can have your knees bent a little or a lot. So you might bend your knees like this. Just do a little kind of tapping movement. So I'll do a couple more like this. And I'll come back to our other version. Knowing that you can pause anytime you need to, you can always revisit the exercise. Just one more time to each side. I think that's balanced for me. And then knees come back in. And again, if you'd like to rock side to side, maybe add in some circles here. So we'll bring our feet down, feet are about hip width apart. And again, opportunity for some windshield wipers from one side to the other. Getting a little gentle twist from one side to the other, or a variation of a twist, you could say. So we're going to come back into a kneeling position, or not really kneeling, knees are bent position. And we're going to do our bicycle maneuver, but I'm going to start out on more of a kind of like an elbow to knee position. So left elbow goes to right knee, and then we'll lower down, exhale, switching to the other side. So this is our modification for our bicycle maneuver. And one thing I want you to think of as you do this is the foot that's on the ground, pressing that foot into the ground, really activating that entire leg up into the glute, and then switching to the other side. So when you add in that extra emphasis of pushing that, so it's this foot right here, the bottom foot, pushing that into the ground, that's going to really change the way this movement feels. So if that's enough work, you can stay just as we are. Or if you'd like, we can now turn this into a bicycle maneuver. So maybe extending that bottom leg, bicycling from one side to the other. Exhale, 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 exhale. And if you want to go slower, you can do that. Breathing. We'll do just a couple more. And then bringing those knees back into the chest. So now, setting our feet down on the ground, we're going to roll to one side. And we're going to stretch out what we just did. So we're going to come into Sphinx pose. Elbows are directly underneath the shoulders, and you can check that by taking your hands to the opposite bicep. Hands come to the floor, forearms come down to the floor. We'll spread those fingers wide, lifting the low belly up and away from the ground, and also lifting the neck and the ears away from the shoulders. So rather than slumping here, lifting, and that's going to help us stretch out the front of the body, opening the heart. We're really lifting that belly button away from the floor. We'll exhale, forehead comes down, letting the spine lengthen. Hands come next to the shoulders, and we're going to push up. So we'll reverse push up here. Exhaling back, coming into child's pose, lengthening the spine. If you'd like, you can take your knees wider than the hips, letting the belly rest between the legs, elongating the spine. Breathing into that. Breathing into the space of the low back and the hips. On your next in-breath, we're going to come into a seated position. So making our way back into seated. And we're going to inhale tall. Exhaling, we're going to twist to one side. Turning your gaze over that shoulder. We'll inhale forward again, and then exhale, twist to the other side. Inhaling forward. We're going to take a seated forward fold. So again, finding length on the in-breath. Exhaling, we're going to walk our hands forward to any degree. Breathing into the hips and the low back. Maybe letting our gaze come towards the belly button. Until we'll walk the hands in and the body up, and we're going to put the other leg in front, and we'll do that series again. So inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, twisting to one side. Inhaling forward, exhaling to twist to the other side. Inhaling forward. We're going to get ready to take that same seated forward fold. So on the next in-breath, lengthening the spine. As we exhale, walking the hands forward to any degree, breathing into those hips and that low back. Relaxing the back of the neck and the throat. We'll inhale all the way up. One more stretch here. So left hand comes to the floor. We'll inhale the right arm up and over. Exhaling down, inhaling that left arm up and over. And then big inhale, inhaling the arms up. Exhaling, coming back to center. Thank you so much for sharing this short workout with me. Have a wonderful day.